Recently, I was thinking about that whole feeling that a person gets when they are victimized. Now, when somebody has an extreme case of victimization, like let's say that they are raped or mugged or somehow physically or sexually abused, there is an obvious feeling that comes with that, which is shame. And what's interesting about that is the victim feels the shame even though they are not, there's nothing wrong with them. But because of the psychology of humans, because of the way the mind works, when we feel violated or somehow that somebody has taken advantage of us, we internalize that. And it's almost like what happens is we feel like we're bad. It's a similar kind of feeling as when you get punished. The punishment actually makes you feel shame. It makes you feel like you're unworthy, like you're not good enough. And this is the extreme example, is when you have somebody violate you. It can be like somebody violates your physical person, they violate you emotionally, sexually, but it can even be at a much lighter degree. Let's say that somebody just steals money from you, or in some other way takes advantage of you, cons you in some way. Maybe they just say something or do some things that make you feel slighted. Or you may even feel like you've been betrayed. This could be a betrayal from somebody who was your lover or your wife or your husband, or it could be somebody who was a good friend and somehow that person betrayed you. And you feel like you're a victim. And it may not seem like you label yourself a victim, but there's some icky feeling that comes with betrayal, that comes with feeling like you're ripped off, like somebody took advantage of you, like somebody violated you. And this, ultimately, what I've discovered as I've looked into it, is that feeling of shame. It's a feeling that, how could I let this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Why was I so stupid to do blah, blah, blah? Why was I not able to take an action to avoid it, to prevent it? And so there's this self-blame associated with it. Even though there may have been circumstances it was unavoidable, that there was nothing that I could do to avoid the situation. But somehow, psychologically, at the very root of all of it, we end up blaming ourselves. We end up feeling ashamed of what happened to us. We end up feeling shame, like we got punished, like we did something wrong to deserve whatever it was that happened to us. And it feels gross and icky and slimy and just disgusting. That shame. I bring this up today because as I've had certain things happen to me in life, I've felt that feeling, but I never really explored it. And recently, though, something did happen to me where $200 just disappeared. And the only thing I can think of is that there was somebody that got very close to me and stole it from me. And of course, I ended up thinking, how could I be so stupid as to have this money on me in this situation instead of having it in a different pocket or someplace where it would have been safer? Or why did I even take that money with me into that venue? But that had never happened to me before. And at least I haven't had money stolen out of my pocket like that before. And I doubt that I just dropped it. But the thing is that I felt like a victim. I felt violated. I felt icky. And I was thinking, what is this feeling, the total feeling? Why is it that I feel? And then I blame this other person for it. And whether or not that person actually stole the money from me, I still feel this feeling of victimhood, of shame, of loss. But it's the shame, really. It's the shame of, how could I have allowed this to happen to me? How could I have been so stupid? How could I have put myself in that situation? And there's been other times, right, where I've had a loss or had a situation where something happened to me and maybe I could have avoided it or maybe not, but I felt victimized. I felt betrayed. I felt shame because of it. But now that I know that the feeling underneath it all is the shame, I can go into it and I can release it. So that's where I am today. And that's what I wanted to share with you, so that when you get in a situation where you feel like somebody's ripping you off, really take a hard look at what that feeling is. Now, you can cast blame on somebody else. You can get angry about it, but underneath it all, there is some shame felt. Maybe it's because of the way you were brought up to be very protective of whatever it is that you have, that you don't let it escape your view, or you don't want to lose it. Regardless, if you've ever had this feeling of being violated, of being, of losing something that you feel like you should have taken better care of some other type of loss, or even anger at somebody else because they took advantage of you, look and see if there isn't this underlying feeling of, why did I let this happen? Which is really a feeling of shame. And it may be that your mind is causing you to look at this as if it's some kind of karmic punishment. That you're getting something that you deserve. Which is a total lie. But it's how it probably feels when you get down to the root of it. And that's a lot of times why we get so angry at somebody else. We try to cast blame on somebody else, but we're really blaming ourselves inside. We just can't admit it to ourselves. So go into that shame feeling. And ask yourself, could I let go of this shame? Would I let it go? Am I ready to let go of this shame right now? And just do that until you feel that ucky, yicky, heinous feeling dissolve and get backfilled by peace. And watch all the other secondary feelings like anger, sadness, remorse subside when you address that underlying feeling of shame. That's it for today.